Act I of Henry VI, Part 1 by William Shakespeare. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Act I, Scene 1. Westminster Abbey. Dead March. Enter the funeral of King Henry V, attended on by Dukes of Bedford, Regent of France, Gloucester, Protector, the Exeter, Earl of Warwick, the Bishop of Winchester, heralds, etc.
Hung be the heavens with black, yield day to night. Comets, importing change of times and states, brandish your crystal tresses in the sky, and with them scourge the bad revolting stars that have consented unto Henry's death. King Henry V, too famous to live long. England ne'er lost a king of so much worth.
England ne'er had a king until his time. Virtue he had, deserving to command. His brandished sword did blind men with his beams. His arms spread wider than the dragon's wings. His sparkling eyes, replete with wrathful fire, more dazzled and drove back his enemies than the midday sun, fierce, bent against their faces. What should I say? His deeds exceed all speech. He ne'er lift up his hand, but conquered.
We mourn in black. Why mourn we not in blood? Henry is dead, and never shall revive. Upon a wooden coffin we attend, and death's dishonourable victory we with our stately presence glorify, like captives bound to a triumphant car. What, shall we curse the planets of mishap, that plotted thus our glory's overthrow? Or shall we think the subtle-witted French conjurers and sorcerers, that, afraid of him, by magic verses have contrived his end?
He was a king blessed of the King of Kings. Unto the French the dreadful Judgment Day so dreadful will not be as was his sight. The battles of the Lord of Hosts he fought. The Church's prayers made him so prosperous.
The Church! Where is it? Had not churchmen prayed, his thread of life had not so soon decayed. None do you like but an effeminate prince, whom like a schoolboy you may overawe.
Gloucester, whate'er we like, thou art protector, and lookest to command the prince and realm. Thy wife is proud. She holdeth thee in awe more than God or religious churchmen may.
Name not religion, for thou lovest the flesh. And nay, throughout the year to church thou goest, except it be to pray against thy foes.
Cease, cease these jars, and rest your minds in peace. Let's to the altar. Heralds wait on us. Instead of gold, we'll offer up our arms, since arms avail not now that Henry's dead. Posterity await for wretched years, when at their mother's moist eyes babes shall suck. Our isle be made a nourish of salt tears, and none but women left to wail the dead. Henry V, thy ghost I invocate. Prosper this realm, keep it from civil broils, combat with adverse planets in the heavens. A far more glorious star thy soul will make than Julius Caesar, or bright—
Enter a messenger.
My honourable lords, health to you all. Sad tidings bring I to you out of France, of loss, of slaughter and discomfiture. Guyenne, Champagne, Rheims, Orléans, Paris, Gisors, Poitiers are all quite lost.
What sayest thou, man, before dead Henry's corse? Speak softly, or the loss of those great towns will make him burst his lead and rise from death.
Is Paris lost? Is Rouen yielded up? If Henry were recalled to life again, these news would cause him once more yield the ghost.
How were they lost? What treachery was used?
No treachery, but want of men and money. Amongst the soldiers this is muttered, that here you maintain several factions, and whilst a field should be dispatched and fought, you are disputing of your generals. One would have lingering wars with little cost, another would fly swift, but wanteth wings, a third thinks, without expense at all, by guileful fair words peace may be obtained. Awake, awake, English nobility! Let not sloth dim your horrors new begot. Cropped are the flower de luce in your arms, of England's coat one half is cut away.
Were our tears wanting to this funeral, these tidings would call forth their flowing tides.
Me they concern. Regent I am of France. Give me my steeled coat. I'll fight for France. Away with these disgraceful wailing robes. Wounds will I lend the French instead of eyes to weep their intermissive miseries.
Enter to them another messenger.
Lords, view these letters full of bad mischance. France is revolted from the English quite, except some petty towns of no import. The Dauphin Charles is crowned King of Rheims. The bastard of Orleans with him is joined. Regnier, Duke of Anjou, doth take his part. The Duke of Alençon flieth to his side.
The Dauphin crowned king, all fly to him. Oh, whither shall we fly from this reproach?
We will not fly, but to our enemies' throats. Bedford, if thou be slack, I will fight it out.
Gloucester, why doubt'st thou of my forwardness? An army have I mustered in my thoughts, wherewith already France is overrun.
Enter another messenger.
My gracious lords, to add to your laments, wherewith you now bedew King Henry's hearse, I must inform you of a dismal fight betwixt the stout Lord Talbot and the French.
What, wherein Talbot overcame? Is't so?
Oh no, wherein Lord Talbot was o'erthrown. The circumstance I'll tell you more at large. The 10th of August last, this dreadful lord, retiring from the siege of Orleans, having full scarce 6,000 in his troop, by 23,000 of the French was round encompassed and set upon. No leisure had he to enrank his men. He wanted pikes to set before his archers. Instead whereof sharp stakes, plucked out of hedges, they pitched in the ground confusedly, to keep the horsemen off from breaking in. More than 3 hours the fight continued, where valiant Talbot above human thought enacted wonders with his sword and lance. Hundreds he sent to hell, and none durst stand him. Here, there, and everywhere enraged he flew. The French exclaimed the devil was in arms. All the whole army stood gazed on him. His soldiers spying his undaunted spirit, a Talbot, cried out amain, and rushed into the bowels of the battle. Here had the conquest fully been sealed up, if Sir John Fastolf had not played the coward. He, being an avowed, placed behind with purpose to relieve and follow them, cowardly fled, not having struck one stroke. Hence grew the general wreck and massacre. Enclosed were they with their enemies. A base Walloon, to win the Dauphin's grace, thrust Talbot with a spear into the back, whom all France with their chief assembled strength durst not presume to look once in the face.
Is Talbot slain? Then I will slay myself for living idly here in pomp and ease, whilst such a worthy leader wanting aid unto his dastard foeman is betrayed.
Oh no, he lives, but is took prisoner, and Lord Scales with him, and Lord Hungerford, most of the rest slaughtered or took likewise.
His ransom there is none but I shall pay. I'll hale the Dauphin headlong from his throne. His crown shall be the ransom of my friend. 4 of their lords I'll change for 1 of ours. Farewell, my masters, to my task will I. Bonfires in France forthwith I am to make, to keep our great St. George's feast withal. 10,000 soldiers with me I will take, whose bloody deeds shall make all Europe quake.
So you had need, for Orleans is besieged. The English army is grown weak and faint. The Earl of Salisbury craveth supply, and hardly keeps his men from mutiny, since they so few watch such a multitude.
Remember, lords, your oaths to Henry sworn, either to quell the Dauphin utterly, or bring him in obedience to your yoke.
I do remember it, and here take my leave to go about my preparation.
Exit.
I'll to the tower with all the haste I can, to view the artillery and munition, and then I will proclaim young Henry king.
Exit.
To Eltham will I, where the young king is, being ordained his special governor, and for his safety there I'll best devise.
Exit.
Each hath his place and function to attend. I am left out. For me nothing remains. But long I will not be Jack out of office. The king from Eltham I intend to steal, and sit at chief astern of public weal.
Exeunt. Scene 2. France. Before Orleans. Sound a flourish. Enter Charles, Alençon, and Rainier, marching with drum and soldiers.
Mars is true moving, even as in the heavens, so in the earth, to this day is not known. Late did he shine upon the English side. Now we are victors, upon us he smiles. What towns of any moment but we have? At pleasure here we lie near Orleans. Otherwise the famished English, like pale ghosts, faintly besiege us 1 hour in a month.
They want their porridge and their fat bull beeves. Either they must be dieted like mules and have their provender tied to their mouths, or piteous they will look like drowned mice.
Let's raise the siege, why live we idly here? Talbot is taken whom we wont to fear. Remaineth none but mad-brained Salisbury, and he may well in fighting spend his gall, nor men nor money hath he to make war.
Sound alarm! We will rush on them. Now for the honour of the forlorn French. Him I forgive my death that killeth me when he sees me go back on 1 foot or fly.
Exeunt. Here alarum. They are beaten back by the English, with great loss. Re-enter Charles, Alençon, and Rainier.
Who e'er saw their like? What men have I? Dogs, cowards, dastards! I would ne'er have fled but that they left me midst my enemies.
Salisbury is a desperate homicide. He fighteth as one weary of his life. The other lords, like lions wanting food, do rush upon us as their hungry prey.
Froissart, a countryman of ours, records, England all Olivers and Rowlands bred, during the time Edward III did reign. More truly now may this be verified, for none but Samsons and Goliases it sendeth forth to skirmish, 1 to 10. Lean raw-boned rascals, who would e'er suppose they had such courage and audacity?
Let's leave this town, for they are hair-brained slaves, and hunger will enforce them to be more eager. Of old I know them, rather with their teeth the walls they'll tear down than forsake the siege.
I think by some odd gimors or device, their arms are set like clocks stiff to strike on, else ne'er could they hold out so as they do. By my consent we'll even let them alone.
Be it so.
Enter the Bastard of Orleans.
Where's the Prince Dauphin? I have news for him.
Bastard of Orleans, thrice welcome to us.
Methinks your looks are sad, your cheer appalled. Hath the late overthrow wrought this offence? Be not dismayed, for succour is at hand. A holy maid hither with me I bring, which by a vision sent to her from heaven ordained us to raise this tedious siege, and drive the English forth the bounds of France. The spirit of deep prophecy she hath, exceeding the 9 Sibyls of old Rome. What's past and what's to come she can descry. Speak, shall I call her in? Believe my words, for they are certain and infallible.
Go, call her in.
Exit the Bastard of Orleans.
But first, to try her skill, Rainier, stand thou as Dauphin in my place. Question her proudly, let thy looks be stern. By this means shall we sound what skill she hath.
Re-enter the Bastard of Orleans with Joan la Pucelle.
Fair maid, is thou wilt to do these wondrous feats?
Rainier, is it thou that thinkest to beguile me? Where is the Dauphin? Come, come from behind. I know thee well, though never seen before. Be not amazed, there's nothing hid from me. In private will I talk with thee apart. Stand back, you lords, and give us leave a while.
She takes upon her bravely at first dash.
Dauphin, I am by birth a shepherd's daughter, my wit untrained in any kind of art. Heaven and Our Lady gracious has it pleased to shine on my contemptible estate. Lo, whilst I waited on my tender lambs, and to sun's parching heat displayed my cheeks, God's mother deigned to appear to me, and in a vision full of majesty willed me to leave my base vocation and free my country from calamity. Her aid she promised and assured success. In complete glory she revealed herself. And, whereas I was black and swart before, with those clear rays which she infused on me, that beauty am I blessed with which you see. Ask me what question thou canst possible, and I will answer unpremeditated. My courage try by combat, if thou darest, and thou shalt find that I exceed my sex. Resolve on this, thou shalt be fortunate if thou receive me for thy warlike mate.
Thou hast astonished me with thy high terms. Only this proof I'll of thy valour make. In single combat thou shalt buckle with me, and if thou vanquishest, thy words are true. Otherwise I renounce all confidence.
I am prepared. Here is my keen-edged sword, decked with 5 flower de luces on each side, the which at Touraine, in St. Catherine's churchyard, out of a great deal of old iron I chose forth.
Then come, o God's name, I fear no woman.
And while I live, I'll ne'er fly from a man.
They fight, and Joan la Pucelle overcomes.
Stay, stay thy hands! Thou art an Amazon, and fightest with the sword of Deborah.
Christ's mother helps me, else I were too weak.
Whoe'er helps thee, 'tis thou that must help me. Impatiently I burn with thy desire. My heart and hands thou hast at once subdued. Excellent Pucella, if thy name be so, let me thy servant and not sovereign be. 'Tis the French Dauphin suest to thee thus.
I must not yield to any rites of love, for my profession's sacred from above. When I have chased all thy foes from hence, then will I think upon the recompense.
Meantime, look gracious on thy prostrate thrall.
My lord, methinks is very long in talk.
Doubtless he shrives this woman to her smock, else ne'er could he so long protract his speech.
Shall we disturb him, since he keeps no mean?
He may mean more than we poor men do know. These women are shrewd tempters with their tongues.
My lord, where are you? What devise you on? Shall we give over Orleans, or no?
Why, no, I say, distrustful recreants. Fight till the last gasp. I will be your guard.
What she says I'll confirm. We'll fight it out.
Assigned am I to be the English scourge. This night the siege assuredly I'll raise. Expect St. Martin's summer, halcyon days, since I have entered into these wars. Glory is like a circle in the water, which never ceases to enlarge itself, till by broad spreading it disperse to naught. With Henri's death the English circle ends. Dispersed are the glories it included. Now am I like that proud insulting ship which Caesar and his fortune bear at once?
Was Mahomet inspired with a dove? Thou with an eagle art inspired then. Helen, the mother of great Constantine, nor yet son Philip's daughters were like thee. Bright star of Venus, fallen down on the earth, how may I reverently worship thee enough?
Leave off delays, and let us raise the siege.
Woman, do what thou canst to save our honors. Drive them from Orleans, and be immortalized.
Presently we'll try. Come, let's away about it. No prophet will I trust if she prove false.
Exeunt. Scene 3, London, before the Tower. Enter Gloucester with his serving men in blue coats.
I am come to survey the Tower this day. Since Henry's death, I fear there is conveyance. Where be these warders that they wait not here? Open the gates, 'tis Gloucester that calls.
Within.
Who's there that knocks so imperiously?
It is the noble Duke of Gloucester.
Where he be, you may not be let in.
Villains, answer you so the Lord Protector?
The Lord protect him. So we answer him. We do no otherwise than we are willed.
Who willed you? Or whose will stands but mine? There's none protector of the realm but I. Break up the gates, I'll be your warrant eyes. Shall I be flouted thus by dunghill grooms?
Gloucester's men rush at the tower gates, and Woodville, the lieutenant, speaks within.
What noise is this? What traitors have we here?
Lieutenant, is it you whose voice I hear? Open the gates, here's Gloucester that would enter.
Have patience, noble Duke. I may not open. The Cardinal of Winchester forbids. From him I have express commandment that thou, or none of thine, shall be let in.
Faint-hearted Woodvile, prizest him for me? Arrogant Winchester, that haughty prelate, whom Henry, our late sovereign, ne'er could brook? Thou art no friend to God or to the king. Open the gates, or I'll shut thee out shortly.
Open the gates unto the Lord Protector, or we'll burst them open, if that you come not quickly.
Enter to the protector of the tower gates, Bishop of Winchester and his men in tawny coats.
How now, ambitious Humphrey? What means this?
Peeled priest, dost thou command me to be shut out?
I do, thou most usurping proditor, and not protector of the king or realm.
Stand back, thou manifest conspirator, thou that contrivet'st to murder our dead lord, thou that givest whores indulgences to sin. I'll canvass thee in thy broad cardinal's hat, if thou proceed in this thy insolence.
Nay, stand thou back, I will not budge a foot. This be Damascus, be thou cursed Cain to slay thy brother Abel, if thou wilt.
I will not slay thee, but I'll drive thee back. Thy scarlet robes as a child's burying cloth I'll use to carry thee out of this place.
Do what thou darest. I beard thee to thy face.
What? Am I dared and bearded to my face? Draw, men, for all this privileged place. Blue coats to tawny coats. Priest, beware your beard. I mean to tug it and to cuff you soundly. Under my feet I stamp thy cardinal's hat. In spite of pope or dignities of church, here by the cheeks I'll drag thee up and down.
Gloucester, thou wilt answer this before the Pope.
Winchester goose, I cry, a rope, a rope! Now, beat them hence. Why do you let them stay? Thee I'll chase hence, thou wolf in sheep's array. Out, tawny coats, out, scarlet hypocrite!
Here Gloucester's men beat out Bishop of Winchester's men, and enter in the hurly-burly the Mayor of London and his officers.
Fie, lords, that you, being supreme magistrates, thus contumeliously should break the peace.
Peace, Mayor? Thou knowest little of my wrongs. Here's Beaufort, that regards nor God nor king, hath here to strain the tower to his use.
Here's Gloucester, a foe to citizens, one that still motions war and never peace, overcharging your free purses with large fines, that seeks to overthrow religion, because he is protector of the realm, and would have armour here out of the tower, to crown himself king and suppress the prince.
I will not answer thee with words, but blows.
Here they skirmish again.
Naught rests for me in this tumultuous strife, but to make open proclamation. Come, officer, as loud as e'er thou canst, cry.
All manner of men assembled here in arms this day against God's peace and the king's, we charge and command you in his highness's name to repair to your several dwelling places, and not to wear, handle, or use any sword, weapon, or dagger henceforward upon pain of death.
Cardinal, I'll be no breaker of the law, but we shall meet and break our minds at large.
Gloucester, we will meet, to thy cost be sure. Thy heart-blood I will have for this day's work.
I'll call for clubs, if you will not away. This cardinal's more haughty than the devil.
Mayor, farewell. Thou does but what thou mayest.
Abominable Gloucester, guard thy head, for I intend to have it ere long.
Exeunt severally Gloucester and the Bishop of Winchester with their serving men.
See the coast cleared, and then we will depart. Good God, these nobles should such stomachs bear. I myself fight not once in 40 year.
Exeunt. Scene 4, Orleans. Enter on the walls a master gunner and his boy.
Sirrah, thou know'st how Orleans is besieged, and how the English have the suburbs won.
Father, I know, and oft have shot at them. Howe'er unfortunate, I missed my aim.
But now thou shalt not. be thou ruled by me. Chief master gunner am I of this town. Something I must do to procure me grace. The prince's espials have informed me how the English in the suburbs close entrenched want through a secret grate of iron bars in yonder tower to overpeer the city, and thence discover how with most advantage they may vex us with shot or with assault. To intercept this inconvenience, a piece of ordnance against it I have placed, and even these 3 days have I watched, if I could see them. Now do thou watch, for I can stay no longer. If thou spiest any, run and bring me word, and thou shalt find me at the governor's.
Exit.
Father, I warrant you, take you no care. I'll never trouble you, if I may spy them.
Exit. Enter on turrets Salisbury and Talbot, Glansdale, Gargrave, and others.
Talbot, my life, my joy, again returned. How wert thou handled being prisoner, or by what means gotst thou to be released? Discourse, I prithee, on this turret's top.
The Duke of Bedford had a prisoner, called the brave Lord Ponton de Sangrai. For him was I exchanged and ransomed, but with a baser man of arms by far. Once in contempt they would have bartered me, which I, disdaining, scorned, and craved death, rather than I would be so vile esteemed. In fine, redeemed I was as I desired. But oh, the treacherous Falstaff wounds my heart, whom with my bare fists I would execute, if I now had him brought into my power.
Yet tell'st thou not how thou wert entertained.
With scoffs and scorns and contumelious taunts, in open market-place produced they me to be a public spectacle to all. Here, said they, is the terror of the French, the scarecrow that affrights our children so. Then broke I from the officers that led me, and with my nails digged stones out of the ground, to hurl at the beholders of my shame. My grisly countenance made others fly. None durst come near, for fear of sudden death. In iron walls they deemed me not secure. So great fear of my name mongst them was spread, that they supposed I could rend bars of steel, and spurn in pieces posts of adamant. Wherefore a guard of chosen shot I had, that walked about me every minute while, and if I did but stir out of my bed, ready they were to shoot me to the heart.
Enter the boy with a linstock.
I grieve to hear what torments you endured, but we will be revenged sufficiently. Now it is supper time in Orleans. Here through this grate I count each one, and view the Frenchmen how they fortify. Let us look in, the sight will much delight thee. Sir Thomas Gargrave and Sir William Glansdale, let me have your express opinions where is the best place to make our battery next.
I think at the north gate, for there stand lords.
And I here, at the bulwark of the bridge.
For aught I see, the city must be famished, or with light skirmishes enfeebled.
Here they shoot. Salisbury and Gargrave fall.
O Lord, have mercy on us wretched sinners.
O Lord, have mercy on me, woeful man.
What chance is this that suddenly hath crossed us? Speak, Salisbury, at least if thou canst speak. How farest thou, mirror of all martial men? One of thy eyes and thy cheek side struck off. Accursed tower, accursed fatal hand that hath contrived this woeful tragedy. In 13 battles Salisbury overcame. Henry the Fifth he first trained to the wars, whilst any trump did sound or drum struck up, his sword did ne'er leave striking in the field. Yet livest thou, Salisbury? Though thy speech doth fail, one eye thou hast to look to heaven for grace. The sun with one eye vieweth all the world. Heaven, be thou gracious to none alive, if Salisbury wants mercy at thy hands. Bear hence his body, I will help to bury it. Sir Thomas Gargrave, hast thou any life? Speak unto Talbot. Nay, look up to him. Salisbury, cheer thy spirit with his comfort. Thou shalt not die whiles He beckons with his hand and smiles on me, as who should say, when I am dead and gone, remember to avenge me on the French. Plantagenet I will, and like thee, Nero, play on the lute, beholding the towns burn. Wretched shall France be only in my name.
Hear an alarum, and it thunders and lightens.
What stir is this? What tumult in the heavens? Whence comes this alarum and the noise?
Enter a messenger.
My lord, the French have gathered head. The Dauphin, with one Joan la Pucelle joined, a holy prophetess new risen up, is come with great power to raise the siege.
Here Salisbury lifteth himself up and groans.
Here our dying Salisbury doth groan. It irks his heart he cannot be revenged. Frenchmen, I'll be a Salisbury to you. Pucelle or Puzzle, Dolphin or Dogfish, your hearts will stamp out with my horse's heels, and make a quagmire of your mingled brains. Convey me Salisbury into his tent, and then we'll try what these dastard Frenchmen dare.
Alarum. Exeunt. Scene 5, the same. Here an alarum again, and Talbot pursueth the Dauphin and driveth him. Then enter Joan la Pucelle, driving Englishmen before her, and exit after them. Then re-enter Talbot.
Where is my strength, my valour, and my force? Our English troops retire, I cannot stay them. A woman-clad in armour chaseth them.
Re-enter Joan la Pucelle.
Here she comes. I'll have a bout with thee. Devil, for devil's dam I'll conjure thee. Blood will I draw on thee. Thou art a witch. Straightway give thy soul to him thou servest.
Come, come, 'tis only I that must disgrace thee.
Here they fight.
Heavens, can you suffer hell so to prevail? My breast I'll burst with straining of my courage, and from my shoulders crack my arms asunder. But I will chastise this high-minded strumpet.
They fight again.
Talbot, farewell. Thy hour is not yet come. I must go victor Orleans forthwith.
A short alarum. Then enter the town with soldiers.
Overtake me, if thou canst. I scorn thy strength. Go, go, cheer up thy hungry starved man. Help Salisbury to make his testament. This day is ours, as many more shall be.
Exit.
My thoughts are whirred, like a potter's wheel. I know not where I am, nor what I do. A witch, by fear, not force, like Hannibal, drives back our troops and conquers as she lists. So bees with smoke and doves with noisome stench are from their hives and houses driven away. They called us for our fierceness English dogs. Now, like to whelps, we crying run away.
A short alarum.
Hark, countrymen, either renew the fight, or tear the lions out of England's coat. Renounce your soil, give sheep in lions' stead. Sheep run not so half so treacherous from the wolf, or horse or oxen from the leopard, as you fly from your oft subdued slaves.
Alarum. Here another skirmish.
It will not be. Retire into your trenches. You all consented unto Salisbury's death, for none would strike a stroke in his revenge. Pucelle is entered into Orleans, in spite of us, or aught that we could do. Oh, were I to die with Salisbury, the shame hereof will make me hide my head.
Exit Talbot. Alarum. Retreat. Flourish. Scene 6, the same. Enter on the walls Joan la Pucelle, Charles, Rainier, Alençon, and soldiers.
Advance our waving colours on the walls. Rescue this Orleans from the English. Thus Joan la Pucelle has performed her word.
Divinest creature, Astræa's daughter, how shall I honor thee for this success? Thy promises are like Adonis' gardens, that one day bloomed and fruitful were the next. France, triumph in thy glorious prophetess! Recovered is the town of Orleans. More blessed hap did ne'er befall our state.
Why ring not out the bells aloud throughout the town? Dauphin, command the citizens make bonfires and feast and banquet in the open streets to celebrate the joy that God hath given us.
All France will be replete with mirth and joy when they shall hear how we have played the men.
'Tis Joan, not we, by whom the day is won, for which I will divide my crown with her, and all the priests and friars in my realm shall in procession sing her endless praise. A statelier pyramus to her I'll rear than Rodolph's or Memphis ever was. In memory of her when she is dead, her ashes in an urn more precious than the rich jewel of Darius transported shall be at high festivals before the kings and queens of France. No longer on Saint Denis will we cry, but Joan, La Pucella, shall be France's saint. Come in, and let us banquet royally after this golden day of victory.
Flourish, exeunt. End of Act 1.